China is one of the China is one of the four ancient civilizations. It has a vast and varied geographic expanse, 3,600 years of written history, as well as a rich and profound culture. Chinese culture is diverse and unique, yet harmoniously blended, an invaluable asset to the world. Our China Culture Guide has information divided into traditional food and invention, traditional dance, ancient architecture, famous ancient people, and ancient art. Welcome to our museum.
Okay. When we think about museums, it comes to our mind history, experience, and learnings that opens our knowledge to aspects that we didn't know before. Soyuz Bilingual School came to Azuero learn to do the same things that museums had done around the world. It came to leave footprints throughout these last years. We had experience, learned life lessons, we had history. It's for this reason that the topic about museums around the world with the 25 years provides the opportunity to not just know relevant aspects, which will help to our students with their hard skills, but it also gives the opportunity to them to reinforce and internalize what in Soyuz we have been doing these years, leaving footprints and make that our students continue to be able to demonstrate their soft skills. We will honor the slogans that proudly represent our institution, always looking to the future and hand in hand with technology. We will shape this celebration with love and dedication. Today, we are proud to present 5th A grade with their teacher Lilian Perez, Doris Gallo, and Susan Peralta. They will present the Chinese Museum. Please turn off your mobile devices or put them in silence during the presentation to avoid distractions. And please avoid entering and leaving the room once the presentation has started. With nothing else at the moment, let's give a round of applause to the protagonists of this day. Cuando pensamos en museo, nos viene a la mente historia, vivencia, aprendizaje, que nos abre nuestro entendimiento a aspectos que antes no sabíamos. Soyuz Bilingual School llegó a tierra azuerense para hacer lo mismo que han hecho los museos alrededor del mundo. Ha llegado para dejar huellas. A través de estos últimos años hemos tenido vivencias, lecciones de vida aprendidas, hemos tenido historia. Es por eso que el tema de los museos alrededor del mundo, junto a los 25 años de plata, brinda la oportunidad no solamente de conocer aspectos relevantes que ayudarán a nuestros estudiantes con sus habilidades duras, sino también la oportunidad de dar a nuestros estudiantes de poder afianzar, internalizar lo que en Soyuz hemos estado haciendo estos años, dejar huella y hacer que nuestros chicos sigan siendo capaces de demostrar sus habilidades blandas. Haremos honor al lema que presenta orgullosamente nuestra institución, con miras siempre al futuro y agarrados de la mano con la tecnología. Plasmaremos con amor y entrega esta celebración. Hoy nos orgullece presentar al quinto grado y en el día de hoy nos presentará el Museo de la Ciudad Prohibida. Agradecemos de antemano apagar sus dispositivos móviles o ponerlos en silencio durante la presentación para evitar distracciones. También les solicitamos evitar entrar y salir del recinto cuando haya empezado la presentación. Sin más, démosles un fuerte aplauso a los protagonistas de este día.
Welcome to our museum. Hello, my name is Ana Paula, and you will learn about the traditional Chinese food. Now, my colleague Saul.
Thank you, Ana Paula. I am going to talk about national food, vegetables. There were not many varieties of vegetables in ancient China. Cucumbers and soybean were the major vegetables during that period. 1000 BC, the soybean stopped growing in ancient China. Wine. China is regarded as one of the first countries in the world to have made wine. During Shang Dynasty, people began drink yellow rice wine, and years later, millet wine was introduced. Sorghum. It is known as camel of crops because it doesn't need much water and grows in soil. And China is the oldest and the largest center for the origin of sorghum. Now my colleague David.
Thank you, Saul. Hi, I am David, and I will continue explaining you more information about Chinese food. The tea is the national drink of China and is one of the famous drinks in the world. The meat. The pork is commonly meat consumed by Chinese people, and Chinese people were eating pork more than 2 million to 3 million years BC. The tofu is made with soya, milk, proteins, and along, etc. At that time, they cannot eat and cook tofu as big pieces, and they eat it to small pieces. And the rice is Chinese origin, and the Chinese farmers harvest and eat it too. Thank you for listening. Now my colleague and Ana Paula.
Thank you, David. Now you will learn about the Chinese invention. Paper making. Before the invention of paper, people used different materials like wood, stone, and bone to write on. The Egyptians discovered a type of reed called papyrus, which could be used to write on by overlapping thin stripes that had been soaked in water. The word paper derived from papyrus. Silk. The invention of silk dates back to the 4th millennium BC during the Neolithic period. Apart from clothing, silk was used in a variety of sectors, including writing, fishing, and for musical instruments. Tea production. The tea was invented in ancient China by the Chinese Emperor Shennong. Tea was used as a medicine, and it was used as a drink in social occasions. Tiny Dynasty. Tea was prepared different in ancient China. Kites. The Chinese used the silk to make kites, adding a resilient and lightweight bamboo frame were tensile strength silk. Now, my colleague Gabriela.
Thank you, Anna. Welcome to the traditional Chinese invention. My name is Gabriela, and I will explain you about the silk-dry porcelain, the compass, and the wheelbarrow. The silk-dry. This never reaches Europe and Asia. Chinese farmers generally use their hands, which was time to in effect the porcelain. This was begun in Europe, Asia, and Africa. The compass. This is the original Chinese invention. The wheelbarrow. This carried the fruit and the food. Thank you for visiting our stand.
Hi, today my group is going to present the Chinese dance.
Thank you, Victor Faustino. Hi, my name is Alejandro. Prehistoric Chinese dance originates from religion. The ancient dance was merely a religious ritual more than an entertainment art form. One of the famous forms and styles of traditional Chinese dance is dragon dance. The Chinese often call temple dancing dance of the dragon. The dragon is an international animal created by Chinese ancestors. It is a symbol of divine power and good fortune. The different clans in the land of China create the image of the dragon in the process continuous fusion and integration. Nowadays, the dragon dance is used to pray for rain. During each traditional Chinese festival, such as Chinese New Year, Lantern Festival, is the dragon dance in different styles throughout China. The dragon dance has become to speak China. Next, my colleague Vivian.
Thank you, Alejandro. Now I will explain two dances. One is the lion dance, and the second one is the traditional Chinese roving dance. Now I will explain the lion dance. The lion dance is a culture in Chinese. It feels like a New Year in January 31. They will invite his family and friends. Now I will explain the traditional Chinese roving dance. The traditional Chinese roving dance is in New Year. If you're in the traditional Chinese. Next, my colleague Victor.
Thanks, Vian. Now, my visitor, you will learn two dances, Yangkong dance and the traditional Chinese fan dance. Yangkong dance. The Yangkong dance is a traditional Chinese folk dance. The dance is smooth and compact. Traditional Chinese fan dance. The traditional Chinese fan dance is not very famous, but in the years ago is famous. Now, my colleague Juan Antonio.
Thank you, Victor Faustino. Chinese long and live dance is more famous in China. The opera in Peking, the characteristic dance are showing in unique boutique. The long and live dance is great, the great of effort. Thank you for visiting our stand.
Hi, I'm Vincent. We are going to explain you about the Chinese architecture. I'm going to explain you about the Chinese religious architecture. The Buddhist architecture followed by the imperial style. A Buddhist monastery had a front hall with a statue of Bodhisattva. The list of classification includes the word gong. Gong means any building with two or more floors with a horizontal main ridge. Low. Long. Tai. Tai is an elevated terrace with a flat top. Ding. Chinese pavilion made building either of wood, stone, or bamboo. These buildings were made in any shape such as hexagon, square, triangle, and octagon, and etc. Gi. Gi is similar to Lo, but had doors and windows. Ta. Ta means any building. Ta. Chinese Buddhists built special buildings which were like Indian stupas. Now my colleague Oliver is going to explain more.
Thanks, Vincent. Hi, I am Oliver and I'm gonna explain about the Great Wall of China and the temples. The Great Wall of China was built between 220 and 206 by King Shang I. The purpose to build this famous wall was they want to protect the China Empire from nomadic tribus, invasions, and military forces. Their wall was 5,007.5 kilometers high. Now I will explain you about the temples. One great example of a Chinese architecture are the Buddhist temples. Unfortunately, they are not anymore because they need a space for a younger department. Of many years of nights, there is one tower, which still remains. It's nearly 400, and it was erected in Toyang. It was made at the beginning of the 6th century. The most dynastic keeps are the pagoda and structure. The pagoda was mainly used for sacred objects in terms of architecture. The temple took new forms to tetragonal. Under Song, the second dynasty, the Tang decided to have the forms in octagonal. Now my colleague Hafed.
Hello everyone, my name is Hafed and I'm going to talk about the Forbidden City. The Forbidden City was built during the Ming and Qing dynasties that was in 1408 to 1420 years before Christ. Here you'll see a picture about the Forbidden City. It might look different depending on the time and weather. On its time, it was built for 24 emperors, and you couldn't enter without the permission of one. Now, my colleague Helen.
Hi, I am Helen. I am going to talk about Chinese architecture. Architecture means art and science of designing and erecting buildings. Imperial architecture. There were certain distinct features which were solely reserved for buildings that were built for reptiles and dragons. Each rooftop is of blue color, which symbolizes the sky. The second feature is the Chinese dragon, which symbolizes the Chinese nationality. The center of the building was a shrine for the deities and ancestors, which will also be used during festivities. Thank you for visiting us.
Hi, welcome to our exhibition. Here you will learn about famous ancient people. My colleague Joaquin will start first.
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, my name is Joaquin, and I'm going to talk about Confucius and Lao Shi. Who is Confucius? Confucius, he was a philosopher who he born in 1551 and he died in 1623. And who is Lao Shi? Lao Shi is a Chinese personality whose historical existence is debated. He is the most relevant philosopher on China's society. And now my colleague Manuel is going to talk about a little bit more.
Hi, I am Manuel. I will talk about two famous ancient people, Qin Shi Huang and Li Bai. Qin Shi Huang is accredited with founding the Qing dynasty, the first dynasty of Imperial China. He reigned He reigned the first dynasty from 221 BC to 210 BC. Li Bai was a Chinese poet considered the great romantic poet of Tang Dynasty. The court turbine in modern Mandarin and as the past, the alternative pronunciation Bo. It is a name which translated Lipo. Now my colleague Annalise.
Thanks, Manuel. Hi, my name is Annalise, and I talk of Dufu, Senhi, and Wu Zetian. Dufu is a historical figure in China, a country dedicated to poetry. Dufu was not greatly appreciated in his lifetime for his daring and strange writing style and his constant criticisms of the regime. Senhi, he is one of the greatest explorers in the history of mankind. He led 7 epic voyages west from China across the Indian Ocean to the east coast of Africa and into the Persian Gulf. In command of the largest and most advanced fleet the world has ever seen, Wu Zetian, she was a Chinese empress regnant who ruled the Zhou dynasty. She is the only female monarch in the Chinese history. Before ruling the Zhou dynasty, she had served as a facto ruler of China. Now, my colleague, Kevin.
Thanks, Annalise. Hi, I am Kevin, and I'm gonna talk about 3 famous ancient people. Puyi was a soldier. He served for the emperor. He was in a war and was a puppet for Japan. He also was chosen to be the emperor of China. Sun Yat-sen was a soldier and a poet. He was born in 1866 and was in a war and fought many people and then died in 1925. Zhongguo Emperor, his dad died in a war. He took place as the 3rd emperor of China. Thank you for visiting our stand.
Hi, welcome to Ancient China's Art. My name is Valeria and I explain the Terracotta Army. Terracotta Army is a part of a bronze emperor built for Emperor King Shi Huang, the first emperor in China. There are over 8,000 life-size statues of soldiers. John for Emperor King. John for Emperor King wanted to live forever. He spent much of his life researching for a melody and the elixir of life. The soldier of the Terracotta Army is life-size statue of soldiers. They average around 5 feet, 11 inches tall, with some as tall as 6 foot, 7 inches. The soldiers wear even designed different clothing and armor, brand from the cover dress different than foot soldiers. Do you have an idea how they do so many soldiers? To build 8,000 life-size statues of soldiers have taken a large army of workers. Archaeologists estimate that over 700,000 craftsmen work on the project. Other states, the tomb is more famous for its large row of army, but there were plenty of other states that accompanied Emperor King in the afterlife. Interesting facts about the Terracotta Army. The horses and the armor are sled. This shows how he sled invented by the time of the Qing dynasty. Also, the 21 from broken to many pieces which ordinarily have been carefully putting back together for many years. Terracotta Army. This is one of the greatest ancient China's art, built for Emperor King Shiguang, the first emperor in China. Now my colleague Jose Daniel will explain more.
Thanks, Valeria. Hi, my name is Jose Daniel, and I'm gonna talk about Neolithic poetry and jade culture. Life was simple in the Neolithic period, and the people in ancient China spent their lives farming and caring for their animals. Art during the Neolithic period has been classified into a mosaic of 22 regional cultures by archaeologists. The first evidence of poetry was seen in 18,000 BC, which was ahead of other Asian civilizations, and it has evolved with time. Jade culture. Jade was more than a stone in ancient China. It was the symbol of perfection, immortality, nobility, and constancy. Evidence of the use of jade was found in the Yangtze River Delta during the Liang-Su cultural period, 3400 BC, 2250 BC. Large pieces of ritual jade, such as bead discs, U-axes, and conch cylinders, were popular. Now, my colleague Liz is gonna explain a little.
Thank you, Jose. Hi, my name is Liz, and I will explain you about the story of Han art. During the Han art dynasty, 206 BC to 220 AD, the Asian Chinese arts reached its peaks. The Han dynasty was also known as the Golden Age for Chinese arts, and include music, literature, and pottery, as well as the visual arts. During the Han art dynasty, there was also a massive boom in bronze sculpture. Archaeologists discovered a bronze horse in the 2nd century BC, tombs at Kansu. Miniatures of bronze statues of social figures were also common, and lamps with glittered bronze were undecorated. Next up, I'm going to talk about cloison. Cloison is a technique for decorating metal works objects. The term cloison refers a technique as well that finish a product. It comes from French word cloison, which means partition. The utensil usually made for copper or bronze, over which this copper wire is glued or welded to draw the sinks. Cloison came China 14th to the late 15th century. The process became very popular with court artisans. Earliest record pieces from the Ming Xuan Emperor's rule in 1426. The Yunnan province was supposed to be the first to produce a unique pieces as it was under the Mongol. However, early Chinese cloison is so delicate that very few imperial pieces have survived today. Thank you, and now my colleague Victor Luis explain a little more.
Thank you, Liz. My name is Victor Luis. I explain about to the landscape painting. China produced some of the final landscape painting from the 5th dynasty. They were two distinct techniques were popular in ancient China. In the north, painting of towering mountains were famous, and they with in black line and sharp dotted brush struck popular artists. Artists like Don Juan, Huran, and others depict their native countryside with brush countryside. The beginning of the Tang Dynasty was the era of Shui mountain water painting. The inventory to depict an emotion or sense of surrounding. The technique called Asmin landscape painting to started to evolve that during the Yuan Dynasty. This was the technique calligraphy brushwork, which to represent the inner spirit of the artist. Thanks for listening us.
Bueno, nuevamente brindémosles un gran aplauso a nuestros protagonistas de hoy. A continuación, la profesora Lilian Pérez nos brindará unas palabras.
Muy buenos días a todos. Thank you guys. You were really amazing. I know that it's not easy to speak in English in front of many people here. So I'm pretty proud for all of you. Un fuerte aplauso nuevamente para mis niños. Okay, so I will ask you some questions. Let's start over here. Some of you can tell us how was your experience with this topic.
Fue divertido. Yes. That the tea is the national drink of China, and the opportunity to learn more about China.
Esto no fue ensayado. Okay, over here. What was the most interesting thing that you learned here in this topic?
If a tradition dance in Chinese.
Can you mention them?
It's like dragon dance, the lion dance, the tradition Chinese dance, roving dance.
Thank you. And this group, what did you learn here?
I learned about the Buddhist temples and the Great Wall of China. It was interesting.
Okay, what was your favorite part?
About the Great Wall of China and how it was long.
Interesting, good. Thank you. See, next group. What was your favorite part, guys?
My group and I learned is for the ancient people of China. I like this explanation of this Shakespeare.
Good, excellent. What about this group? Tell us.
I learned about the Chinese people how draw this beautiful art. It's so beautiful how draw this art. I learned this, and the Chinese people is so intelligent of this art.
Excellent, good job, guys. Bueno, agradecerle a los papás, de verdad, infinitas gracias por todo el apoyo brindado. Sin ustedes esto no hubiese sido posible. Así que bueno, la profesora Olga va a dirigirse a ustedes.
Hola chicos, se oye el aplauso profundo de mi estimado, pero no de los demás porque tenemos el celular a manos. El esfuerzo que los chicos han hecho conjuntamente con ustedes merece que se escuche el estruendoso aplauso. Por favor, dejan los celulares. Eso. Miren, esta es una técnica que a nosotros nos ha brindado muchos resultados. Venimos escuchando, viendo la participación de todos los chicos desde preescolar, desde maternal. Desde maternal los niños comienzan esta práctica. Niños, lo hicieron hermoso, maravilloso, porque ellos tienen primero que entender qué dicen. Entonces, a esta edad, en 5º grado, que tengan esa fluidez, ya ellos están listos para no tenerle absolutamente miedo al idioma. Ellos van a quedar como el embajador que está hablando aquí de 6º año. Nuestros chicos de 6º año, usted ve con qué profundidad, con qué fluidez, con qué naturalidad leen, hablan el idioma. Así quedan estos chicos. Y esta es una práctica que pone en evidencia el coraje de ustedes, el compromiso que ustedes tienen, su responsabilidad, muchachos. Yo quisiera aspiro a que un día se desaparezca el asunto de las notas. Los chicos no son unas notas, padre. Los chicos no son unas notas. Son mucho más. Esta presentación lo indica. ¿Qué importa si de momento se les fue la onda? ¿Qué importa? Es un momento en que ellos comienzan a modular sus emociones, comienzan a administrar sus emociones, comienzan a creer en ellos mismos. El asunto de las notas priva muchas veces de la importancia de la profundidad de lo que somos. Por eso que esta actividad va con miras a que el chico en su aprendizaje aprenda a hacer, a que esté contento con su yo, con su personalidad, con todo lo que hacen. Muchas gracias a ustedes, niños, por una mañana tan esplendorosa, tan hermosa. Estoy anonadada de tanta belleza y me da una alegría inmensa que el tema haya sido de esta cultura. Los chicos aquí hablaron de la cultura china, de su arquitectura, de su costumbre, de sus tradiciones. Este grupo, yo le tengo una profunda admiración a esta cultura, porque si hay chicos que desarrollan un respeto, son esta cultura china. Creo que tenemos un 15% de nuestra población, o sea, es alta, de estos chicos con nosotros, y le agradecemos profundamente que ellos tengan la confianza de tener a sus hijos aquí. No se han equivocado, no se han equivocado. El escucharlos a ellos, que no hay diferencia entre su lengua, entre su acento y el inglés y el español, es un logro profundo. Les agradezco a las maestras toda su dedicación y todo su empeño. Cuando los niños son chiquitos, el maestro se aprende todas las charlas y está detrás. A este nivel la maestra se quedó allá. Eso significa confianza. Ya ella sabe que los puede soltar. Ya ella sabe que si se equivocan, se equivoca. ¿Y qué? ¿Qué importa? Eso no es lo importante. Y le agradezco a Lilian y a tu compañera Susan, que todos los días aquí hay una presentación de las OYUS. Porque yo estoy de acuerdo con que el niño, el estudiante, haga cosas, en vez de tener un pedazo de papel desarrollando una prueba. Eso casi que no tiene sentido para la existencia futura. Ahorita están los chicos de 11, creo que son, en Penonomé, desarrollando unas pruebas de química, participando. No importa si quedan de tercera, de cuarta, de quinta, eso no importa, sino lo que aprendieron y lo que les va a quedar para su futuro. Ayer estaba nuestra chica representando a las OYU en oratoria, y así es. Decían los maestros, profesora, ¿cuándo? Porque aquí pelean por las notas, por las horas. ¿Y a qué hora vamos a enseñar? Le digo, si los chicos están aprendiendo. Los chicos están aprendiendo. Los chicos están aprendiendo. Pero la costumbre del maestro adelante, el niño atrás y las bancas puestas, eso debe acabarse. Eso debe acabarse. Así que, esplendorosa mañana, muchachos. Gracias por el compromiso desarrollado. y a ustedes también, queridas maestras. Muchas gracias, padres de familia. Ayer cuando vi a los papás bajando sí, a mí me emociona todo. La verdad que sí, me emociona todo. Porque es esa trilogía la que da los mejores ciudadanos, padre, maestro, estudiante. Ese compromiso de las tres partes es la que desarrolla los mejores ciudadanos. Continuemos así, padres de familia. Muchas gracias.